the gap, standing for Jesus. Standing in the gap for family and friends. Standing in the gap, one love for all, so we all can make it in.
Now, we have dedicated a certain part of our broadcast each week to current events and spiritually how we're to deal with current events, because God put us in this world not to be a part over here by ourselves, but to spread the gospel throughout the world. And we won't know where to spread it and what to say and all that. We don't know what's going on in the world, so we want to keep you up to date on current events. Now, this part of the broadcast is the sole property of Marvel. She always comes up with interesting current events, and I'm sure she has one for us now, so I'm going to turn it over to her at this point in time. Marvel?
Well, we are in such a state of turmoil and excitement, and just all the things going on in the world. So this week, we had a lot of excitement in New York City. I'm entitling this one, Corruption on Both Sides.
Tonight on the readout,
the actions that have unfolded over the last 10 months, the leaks, the commentary, the demonizing. This did not surprise us that we reached this day.
These charges are rigged. The whole thing is rigged. What's happening here is weaponization at a level that nobody's seen before, ever.
a tale of two New Yorkers, both facing criminal indictments, both with a similar style. Maybe the Democrat Adams could be a Republican presidential nominee someday, because he certainly meets the MAGA ethical standards. Big way to the Northeast and a huge political scandal. Now, I'm going to tell you for a moment a story of two New Yorkers, one from Brooklyn, one from Queens, both of whom are facing criminal indictments. Both are accused of taking cash from foreign governments. Both are accused of enriching themselves while in office. One of them is the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. The other is Donald Trump. Today, the FBI formally announced 5 criminal counts against Adams, including 2 counts of solicitation of contributions by a foreign national, as well as wire fraud and bribery.
Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal.
Now, it's an allegation that Trump is facing as well about the possibility that he took a $10 million illegal cash contribution from Egypt around his 2016 presidential campaign. Like Trump, since Adams took office in 2022, his administration has been caught up in several federal investigations. In a statement late last night, Adams even sounded like Trump when he denied the allegation, saying it was a result of him standing up for the people of New York.
I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target. And a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit.
And given all the similarities, one might wonder if you could imagine a world where Adams decides to make a run for president as a Republican, of course. I mean, why not? He would meet all the same standards as the party's present nominee, potential felon, potential bribe taker, having enriched himself in office. In fact, according to the 57-page indictment, that very idea pops up as a motivating factor for one of the foreign nationals allegedly making an illegal contribution to the mayor's pockets. The belief that Adams might one day be the president of the United States. Adams will be arraigned tomorrow in a federal courtroom in the city he serves.
The defiance of Eric Adams for all his protestations that at City Hall things will be business as usual.
My attorneys will take care of the case so I can take care of the city. My day-to-day will not change.
His would-be replacement tonight broke his silence.
How are you going to govern with all this going on?
As public advocate, Jumaane Williams is next in the line of succession in city government. He'll step up if Adams is convicted or resigns or removed by the governor. Williams is usually a fierce critic of the mayors, but tonight, the weight of this moment was evident.
It is hard to watch, particularly the second black mayor and a whole host of leaders there. And I think there is people who are going to have to pay for that come after. And I'm very concerned about that.
His hand is caught in the cookie jar for sure. He got the crumbs on his face.
Many New Yorkers didn't hold back today after the months-long drip of revelations gave way to a gusher of news.
It sounds like he got bored. That's what it sounds like. And it sounds like, he kind of sold us out.
And in the city council, where the mayor already had few allies, many members are already talking about removing him from office if he doesn't resign first.
I don't know how you defend this. And I'm for good government. I'm for good leadership. I'm for honesty. This is anything but.
I've called for him to step down, and I think that's what he should do. If he truly cares about New Yorkers.
If he does not resign and do the right and responsible thing for the people of New York City, he should be removed from office.
Bob Menendez, who was obviously in it for himself, taking bribes, gold bars. And, when I was watching the trial unfold and the reporting, some of the evidence was so sharply incriminating and frankly, viscerally appealing. When you find hundreds of thousands of dollars in a senator's home hidden away in various locations. You have gold bars throughout his home, and he might try to blame it on his wife, but there was evidence introduced that he, Bob Menendez, was Googling things like the value of gold bars. And I think it's an added obscenity that he tried to blame his wife.
This is a bare knuckle politician whose style has been you claim your turf, you fight anybody who has any threat in your turf, you fight them off, and you make sure they never have a chance to come at you again. He's in a position now where he was startled. He was surprised. I would say he was shocked when these charges came out originally and he was indicted for a second time that New Jersey's Democratic leaders turned on him and turned on him publicly. They did not do that back in 2018. They did that this time around. Now facing a situation where they would like him out of the way. They would like him to resign his seat. They would like him to sort of make himself a past tense political figure. I suspect that Menendez is not in the mood to do anything right now that would be helpful to the New Jersey Democratic Party.
Wow. Political corruption is a thing. It's not a new thing. It's been going on, I imagine, it went on back in the Bible days. So this is nothing new. But it's really interesting to see, of course, Eric Adams, he's been indicted. He pled not guilty. And, in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. But the indictment is quite damning and quite widespread. We got Menendez. In some ways, it would be funny if it wasn't so pitiful and terrible, the things that people do. And I guess it's all based on greed and seeking power, that people do these terrible and dishonest things. Of course, we've got Trump, and he's got a whole litany of them. So he's been convicted. Menendez has been convicted. People are saying the DOJ is so weaponized against Republicans, but they've actually arrested and gone after more Democrats, as that what we're hearing in the news. But what do you think, honey, about a politician that will sell himself or herself to a foreign government or to a foreign corporation to try to get ahead?
Well, I think that's criminal, and I think they should be removed if that happened. Whether you're white, black, or regardless. See, what I always tell people is that a lot of times our people get into these positions, then they think they can do the same thing that the other people are doing and get away with it, and the other people won't allow them to do it generally. Now, in this case, I'll tell you this though. I worked at the United States Attorney's Office as an intern before I graduated from law school.
Mm-hmm.
And the amazing thing about it, I knew that police had their detectives. I saw all the detective shows and all that, and they'd be out there really, hitting the beat and all that. But the difference with the United States Attorney is they got the FBI.
That's true. They got the really good ones.
I mean, the cases I saw when I was there was overwhelming evidence that they collect, and then they take it to court. They have almost a 100%
almost 100%
conviction rate.
Yes.
And I mean, they generally don't take it unless they got it. So I'm not saying that the mayor shouldn't fight it and that he shouldn't do the best he can to defend himself. I just know from experience that it's going to be a struggle.
Oh yes. Well, somebody said that that's part of the whole training and the whole culture of the U.S. attorneys is that they get all their evidence together and then they look at that evidence and they say, do we have at least a 99% chance of conviction and having it stand on appeal? So they're not going to come after you until they got all of their ducks in a row, and you are probably going down.
Well, I mean, we'll leave it up to justice.
Yeah.
The justice works all kind of ways, doesn't it? And mercy also. And he'll have to deal with that. And it's the bad thing is that sometimes it sheds a dark light on the rest of us. And,
well, yeah.
That's the sad part about it. But justice needs to go through. The rule of law needs to be
it has to stand.
Up there.
It has to stand.
All right.
And it has to be equal. So one thing I saw, Reverend Al Sharpton said, a lot of people are going, rushing to put Mayor Adams out, take him out of his office and have the governor. She has the right to remove him from office. And Al Sharpton said they didn't do that to Bob Menendez. They let him go all the way through and be found guilty before they, removed him from office. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that as the mayor realizes the preponderance of evidence and the witnesses that they have, and I'm sure they have them, that he may decide it's in his best interest to step down and, let someone else run the city while he's dealing with that. But we'll see. The bottom line of it is, this is a perfect example of why Christians should be involved in politics. We have to pray and keep our politicians lifted up that they would behave morally and doing the right thing and not the wrong thing.
All right.
Okay.
All right, got news. Chew on it and see how